August 20th, 1966. Two men are found dead on a lonely Brazilian hillside. No injuries, no struggle. Just two bodies in matching suits, lead masks covering their eyes, and a cryptic note that reads, "Be at the agreed place. Take capsules after the effect. Protect metals. Wait for signal." The story begins on a hill called Vintém, overlooking the city of Niterói, Brazil. A local boy flying a kite stumbled upon something strange. Two men lying side by side in the grass. They were dressed neatly in formal suits, raincoats, and strange handmade lead masks, the kind you'd use to shield your eyes from radiation or bright light. Police quickly identified them as Manuel Pereira da Cruz and Miguel José Viana, two electronic technicians from Rio de Janeiro. The men were found with an empty bottle of water, two wet towels, and a note written in Portuguese that read, "Be at the agreed place at 4:30 p.m. Take capsules after the effect. Protect metals. Wait for signal." There were no signs of violence, no blood, no poison detected. Their watches had stopped. Their faces were calm, as if they'd simply powered down. The autopsies revealed no obvious cause of death. Toxicology reports were inconclusive because, unbelievably, the organs had not been properly preserved. The evidence was ruined before it could be tested. So all investigators had left were masks, a note, and two dead technicians.
On August 17, 1966, two electronics technicians from Campos dos Goyatacazes, Brazil, 34-year-old Manuel Pereira da Cruz and 32-year-old Miguel José Viana, told their families they were heading to Niterói to purchase electronic components for their repair business. It was supposed to be a routine trip. They boarded a bus together that morning, chatting casually with other passengers. But what happened next would turn this ordinary journey into one of Brazil's most enduring mysteries. Witnesses confirmed seeing the two men boarding the bus, appearing calm and collected. Nothing about their demeanor suggested distress. However, investigators soon discovered that buying electronic parts was never their true purpose. Bank records showed both men had withdrawn significant amounts of cash, far more than needed for simple supplies. Throughout the day, they made several unusual stops. They visited a pharmacy and purchased two identical raincoats, despite clear skies in the forecast. They stopped at a general store for bottles of mineral water and various tools. Store clerks remembered them because they seemed focused, rehearsed, as if following a checklist. One shopkeeper recalled Miguel consulting a small notebook repeatedly, checking off items. As evening approached, the men took a local bus toward Vintém Hill, a remote, isolated area covered in dense vegetation. The hill wasn't a tourist destination. It was quiet, removed from the city, offering sweeping views but little else to attract visitors. Multiple witnesses from nearby neighborhoods reported seeing something extraordinary that night. Around 9:30 p.m., residents noticed a bright orange light hovering silently above Vintém Hill. It wasn't like an aircraft or searchlight. It pulsed and moved erratically. Some described it as burning without heat, casting an eerie glow across the tree line. Then came a loud metallic bang that echoed through the valley. Several curious residents grabbed flashlights and ventured toward the hill to investigate. But when they reached the area where the light had been, they found nothing. No wreckage, no fire, just darkness and silence. The light had vanished. The next morning, 3 boys hunting birds on Vintem Hill stumbled upon a scene that would haunt them forever. Lying side by side in a small clearing, perfectly aligned, were the bodies of Manuel and Miguel. They wore their new raincoats with formal suits underneath, as if prepared for a ceremony. Most disturbing, each man wore a crude mask made of lead sheets, covering their eyes completely. There were no signs of struggle, no visible wounds, no indication of violence. The men looked as though they had simply lain down and never woken up. Beside their bodies, investigators found a small notebook with a handwritten note. 1630, estar, no local determinado. 18:30, ingerir cápsulas, após efecto, proteger metales, aguardar señal, máscara. Translated, 4:30 p.m., be at the determined place. 6:30 p.m., ingest capsules. After effect, protect metals, wait for signal, mask. The note was precise, clinical, deeply unsettling. It suggested planning and intention. But what were the capsules, and what signal were they waiting for? Detectives interviewed family members, co-workers, and friends, uncovering that both men lived double lives. Publicly, they were reliable technicians who repaired radios and televisions. Privately, they were immersed in spiritualism, metaphysics, and extraterrestrial contact theories. Friends described how Manuel and Miguel met in secret sessions, sometimes late into the night, attempting to communicate with higher entities using homemade radio devices modified with unusual circuits. Their fellow technicians joked they were trying to tune in to Mars. But for Manuel and Miguel, it was no joke. It was a mission. Searching their homes, investigators found notebooks filled with cryptic calculations, star charts, radio frequency tables, and references to intense luminosity, energy transmission, and dimensional thresholds. Some pages contained geometric patterns and symbols resembling no known scientific notation. Others included dates circled in red, including August 17, 1966. The capsules mentioned in the note were never found. Toxicology reports were ordered, but due to advanced decomposition, the bodies had been exposed to heat and humidity. Results were inconclusive. No definitive poison or drug could be identified, though some pathologists suggested ingested substances that metabolized quickly or were undetectable with 1960s technology. Some believed the capsules contained a powerful hallucinogen, like LSD or psilocybin, substances gaining notoriety in the 1960s spiritual movements. The theory was Manuel and Miguel believed taking these would elevate their consciousness, allowing communication with beings from another dimension. Others theorized the capsules contained experimental chemical compounds related to their electronics work, perhaps something to enhance electromagnetic sensitivity or protect against radiation. Still others whispered darker possibilities, that the signal wasn't from the sky at all, but from inside their deteriorating minds. Perhaps shared delusion had gripped both men, leading them to beliefs that cost their lives.
Theory 1. Ritual misfire. The most popular theory suggests Manuel and Miguel were conducting a spiritualist ritual to contact extraterrestrial or interdimensional entities. In 1960s Brazil, particularly Rio de Janeiro, UFO sightings and spiritualist movements were surging. Groups dedicated to contacting space brothers were forming, blending Catholicism, Spiritism, and UFO culture. The lead masks served symbolic and practical purposes. In occult traditions, lead is considered protective, associated with Saturn, believed to shield against harmful energies. The masks might have protected against intense luminosity from a UFO, dimensional portal, or psychic vision. The precise timing in their note suggests ritual structure, as if following instructions. Perhaps they'd learned a specific protocol for initiating contact, complete with preparation times, protective gear, and consciousness-altering substances. But something went catastrophically wrong. Maybe the capsules were too potent. Maybe the combination of drugs, psychological anticipation, and environmental factors triggered fatal physiological reactions, cardiac arrest, respiratory failure, or seizures that left no external marks. Theory 2. Scientific experiment. Another compelling theory frames the incident as a tragic scientific accident. Both men were skilled electronics technicians with genuine curiosity about radio frequencies, electromagnetic fields, and energy transmission. Their notebooks contained legitimate technical calculations, alongside more esoteric content. Perhaps they were testing a homemade device, possibly something to detect or generate electromagnetic radiation, or a communication system designed to pick up unusual frequencies. The lead masks would protect their eyes from potential electrical flashes or intense light from their equipment. The capsules might have been stimulants or focus-enhancing substances they believed would sharpen their perception of subtle signals. An accidental chemical reaction, electrical discharge, or exposure to toxic materials from their experiment could have killed them instantly, explaining the lack of visible trauma. This theory is supported by the fact that both men purchased their lead masks weeks earlier from a local workshop. They didn't improvise, they planned deliberately. They knew exactly what materials they needed and how to construct protective equipment. Theory 3. Murder or manipulation. The darkest theory suggests a third party was involved. Perhaps a cult leader or con artist convinced these two devoted believers to participate in a test or initiation. This person might have provided the capsules, given them instructions, then vanished, leaving no evidence. The complete absence of fingerprints beyond the victims, the lack of witnesses seeing them with anyone else, and the precision of the note suggest outside guidance. Someone with charisma and knowledge of their spiritual interests could have manipulated them into a deadly scenario. This theory struggles with motive, why kill two harmless technicians, but gains traction when considering the organized nature of the event and the mysterious signal they waited for. An enduring mystery. Perhaps the strangest detail. Both men had their lead masks custom-made weeks in advance. This wasn't improvisation or sudden madness. They planned deliberately, gathering specific materials, choosing a remote location, timing everything precisely. They believed in something so strongly that they were willing to climb a hill, don protective masks, ingest unknown substances, and wait for a signal that may never have existed except in their minds. Whether victims of their own beliefs, a failed experiment, or something more sinister, Manuel and Miguel took their truth to the grave, leaving behind only questions, a cryptic note, and two lead masks that continue to captivate the world's imagination.
The lead masks case remains one of the strangest unsolved deaths in Brazil's history. Two men, two masks, and a single note, like the script of a mystery only they understood.
The hill where they died has become a pilgrimage site for UFO enthusiasts and paranormal investigators. Even today, locals say that sometimes, on clear nights, strange lights flicker over Vintem Hill, as if two men are still waiting for a signal that never came. Their story ends where science and belief collide, on a hilltop under an empty sky.